Hey there, crafty family. Let's get started on something different. We're going to go kind of look back in the past, look at some different wreaths that I've made, how we assembled the wreath bases so that you can make any wreath you want. So this is just part one, so let's get started. Okay, so we're going to start with this tutorial. We did this last fall and we used this mesh I got from Walmart, and it was a wired mesh, and I just thought this is really cool, and so I showed it to you guys. But this technique will work with any type of mesh, whether you want to use deco mesh, poly burlap mesh, fabric mesh. Give it a try. 10 inches wide is what you need. So the first thing you're going to do is you are going to gather it at the end, and we're going to use a work wreath form. I believe this one came from Hobby Lobby, but you can purchase them just about anywhere that sells craft supplies. And then I took about 12 inches and we made poofs. Now, for this particular wreath, we're going to start with the inside of this wreath frame, and there's going to come a time where I'm going to add an extra pipe cleaner because I felt like we needed one extra piece here, and that's always okay to do, is to add an extra pipe cleaner. And then you're just going to go all the way around the center. And then once we get to the end, we're going to bring it down to the bottom. Now, this is an older video, and I was promoting Julie's Biz Boutique at the time. If you don't know more about Julie's Biz Boutique and you want to know how I can help you with your creative business, make sure to check out the description box below. Now, once you end up going through the middle of your wreath frame, you're going to go down and make poofs all around the outside of the wreath frame. See how fast I go? I'm pretty impressive, aren't I? But once we got to this point, we had a little bit more mesh, and now we're going to go in the center. We're going to go from piece to piece, and I went up and down and just added a little bit until I used all the mesh, and it really made for a really nice and full look. And as you can see, I'm doing it again, and you're just going to go and fill in the spots and even add an extra pipe cleaner if you'd like. That's what I'm doing here, or even a zip tie will work. And I kind of went through the middle of the frame, but you just want to make sure that at the end of this, it's a nice full base. And then you can add ribbon, you can add a sign, you can do so many things with this particular wreath, but this is the first wreath base that we will do, and it's probably one of the OGs in wreath bases. So I was really happy with the way it came out. The second one, we did a Hobby Lobby video last year, and it was all back to school. And we did it in the same manner as the last one for part of the wreath. So hang on with me here. So in this one, I'm going to go from the bottom to the top, to the bottom, to the top. So we're going to go every other one, okay? So you're going to go back and forth, but then we're going to fill up all the spaces with that blue and red mesh. Now, once you put this wreath together, you're going to be like, Julie, that's some pretty wild colors. I know, but listen, when it all comes together, you'll see the finished product. And if you want to watch the full video, again, I'll have that in the description box below. And I also added a few extra chenille stems, but you just add pieces of this mesh about 10 to 12 inches. And if you want, you just unwrap one of the pieces and then you will add it to it. So I use a wood burner for this part, and we are cutting these about 18 inches, all right? So if it's a little off, this is where making a curl wreath is really great, because you can make it a longer piece or a shorter piece. It depends on how much mesh you have. But I cut all these with a wood burner, and I use a tempered glass on the bottom, and then we had the curl sides up, and then we are going to gather and just let that curl together. And then we're going to do the opposite color. You could do the same color if you wanted, but this we're going to add to one of the spots that we had already twisted, and you're going to go back and forth and make this a nice full wreath. And when you're done, it's just going to be a really nice base. So again, we have so many wreaths here that we've done on Julie's Wreath Boutique. I think we've done over 500 videos. And if you can't find it on Julie's Wreath Boutique, I don't know what to tell you. But you're going to go through and fill up all of this. I used 3 rolls of mesh for this wreath, and then at the end, We added some pieces of ribbon, a sign, but this is kind of giving you a little glimpse of what it looked like when it was finished. But this one was another fave, and if you want to watch the full video, you can just go down to the description box below, and I will have the video. And yeah, I guess I asked you guys to leave me a star because we put stars on this. Isn't that cute? But you'll get some good tips here on how to add embellishments, and everything came from Hobby Lobby. So another great wreath tutorial here. For the next wreath, this was a fun wreath to make. I think we did this a few years ago, and this one is kind of like a bow tie curl method. And so basically I had 2 rolls of deco, or not deco mesh, but poly burlap, and I cut the pieces at around 16 to 18 inches each, okay? So here's the thing. It's not going to look different if you do it less or more. Just get a nice piece that you like. All right, so we're going to take it, we're going to do the curl side down, and we're going to roll under each side a little bit, and then we're going to gather, okay, in the middle. And basically what we're going to do is we're just going to do every other one. We are using like a dome wreath form. We're going to start on wire 3. I always start from the wire from the outside to the inside, and you're just going to use zip ties for this one, but it looks like a little bow tie, right? So then you're going to take your complementary color and you're going to do the same thing and add it. And I believe that we added on bar 2, but let's see, what do I do here? Do you guys like all the different nail polishes that we have in this one? So yes, we are going to do it on bar 2. So we're going up and down on this wreath just to kind of variegate the ruffles and have a little bit of different dimensions, and then you're going to push them close together so that it will all come together, and then you're just going to go both ways. I really thought that the color, this green color, I believe it's the hunter green that of poly burlap that you can get, and then the gray, but I really liked all these different things. We did get this from the Wreath Shop, so I bet you could probably go to the Wreath Shop and find some of these products there. And there I go. I'm just so fast, aren't I? I'm not sure how many pieces of mesh we used, but 1 roll of each color was more than enough. And this is a 16-inch frame. Doesn't have any tinsels on it or wires. It's just the plain wreath frame. But as you can see, I love the look of this base. I think this is so pretty that you could just add a bow and hang it on your front door. But in this video, I show you how to make little bows. We add some greenery. And again, I'll leave that link down in the description box if you want to watch that full tutorial. It was a lot of fun and it just came together beautifully. So on to the next one. Okay, so have you ever found mesh at like Michael's or like Walmart or any other place, and you thought, how am I going to use this? Well, this was one of those things. We wanted to see the beautiful green leaves on the edges of this. So we use a rotary cutter for this particular mesh, but you need to know that for a regular mesh, it might not be a great idea. You might want to use a wood burner, but for this, Michael's had this out maybe 2 years ago, and it was just a really fun mesh to use. But again, it's, you know, it's all about what you can find. So here's an idea that you can take mesh like this. We took a 12-inch wreath form. We had cut our pieces to about 12 to 14 inches each. And again, I want to make sure that we capture the look of this mesh. So we took some little hair ties that you use in your little girl's hair. This is what I used to use for Madeline. And then what we're going to do is we had the top of this mesh facing upwards, okay? And we just took it and we did it's kind of like a ruffle method that you go through the wire. And I put it up into there, okay? But here's the thing. I'm going to smush this together because it doesn't look great like that. And then I'm going to take one of these little, you know, plastic ties for your hair, and we're going to go around it. And this is what this is going to do is going to help create that ruffle look and keep it together. And it just really turned out beautifully. I always have people in the comments like, that's not going to last. But you know what? It's okay if it doesn't last. So Either way, it turned out great. So what we did is we went between bar 1 and bar 3 on the first one, and then we went between bar 2 and the last bar, and so we have 2 layers here. So it's really key that you use a 4-wired wreath frame for this, okay? That's really key. And look at that pretty ruffle, and you can see the leaves. This mesh, you could really see the leaves on both sides, so that was a plus. But again, if you have some striped mesh or something like that, this would be a really great technique. And you have to remember, I've made over 500 videos. So we've done so many different styles of wreaths here. We're going to go back to the bottom and do a layer, and then we're going to go back and do a top to complete that ruffle. But it comes together beautifully, and it's a very simple wreath to make. And again, this is like for one of those wreaths that you just want to really show off the mesh. But if you have any questions, ask them in the comments. I'll be looking, I'll be watching. So hopefully I can get you the answers that you may need on any of the particular wreaths that we did here. But isn't this fun? I mean, I wish I could make a wreath this fast. If I could make a wreath this fast, it would be absolutely amazing. But it did come together beautifully. We made a really pretty gold bow for it, and it just really set it off. It kind of reminded me of money, the colors here. I don't know why, but it did. And then when you get to the end of it, you're going to have to kind of finagle it a little bit. And at this point, you're not going to need any more of those little plastic ties. They're going to stay put. And that's the kind of thing I always get asked questions. People don't understand. There's no way that that wreath will stay together. Yes, it will. I promise you, this is not going to fall apart. It will stay put. It's really an easy method to do. And as you see, I went through and just added a little piece here and there just to kind of make sure we had it all filled in. But it turned out beautifully, and I loved this wreath. I think I gave this away, but again, I can't remember how many wreaths I've given away. And did you know I give my wreaths away? Yes. If you're on my email list, that's the only way I give them away, guys. So make sure you're on my email list. I know a lot of you guys are watching this video because you're on my email list. But isn't she beautiful? Love her. So many options here. But let's go to the next one. Okay, so this is going to be the last one for this particular series, part 1, and then we'll do a part 2 because there's so many. This is a fuse technique, and we're going to do a very similar thing that we did in the previous wreath. So you're going to kind of catch all this. This is the type of mesh that I took 2 different styles or do 2 different colors, and we fuse them together. So underneath is a white with a black trim, and you're going to see it here. But you're going to cut these at like 24 inches. Okay, we're going to cut them really, really long. Okay, I'm going to get the wood burner out with the chisel tip. Again, we have a glass cutting board on the bottom of this. Now, if you need any of these supplies, you need to go to my Amazon storefront or my Walmart storefront, and that's where you can purchase this stuff. But this will fuse the mesh together. So this is 2 pieces of mesh, and I'm going to show you here in a moment how that works. And it makes for such a fuller look. On the outside of the other side, you can see kind of more of the white look, but it just is really pretty. So what we're going to do is we're going to take one of those dome style wreaths. We're going to go through, looks like the 2nd and the 4th, and we're going to pull it up. You're going to start with a zip tie. That'll help keep it in place, right? But this is the same pull through method that kind of creates this ruffle, and you're just going to kind of keep going through and pull it up ever so gently. Don't pull it too hard. This is going a little bit faster than I actually did in real life. I wish I worked this fast, you know. But do you see the beautiful ruffled look that you have? So we did the inside and then the outside for this particular wreath, and then we added some curls at the end. But isn't she pretty? I love this particular style of mesh. You can get it at the Wreath Shop, Trendy Tree. Say that again, Julie. Trendy Tree. And you can get it at Wreaths of Joy. I'm sorry, I had a moment. I do have a coupon code for them. So we're doing it again. I'm going to just show you how to do this. As you can see, I had some of it already done. And it really does, it doesn't take you that long to put it together. You're just pulling it through, and then you're going to go down and do another pull through on the bottom, directly bottom of that. So hopefully I'll show you how to do it here. But when you're all said and done, you get to do this and it just turns out so pretty. So at this point, let's see what the next step is, and it just turns out so nice. And yes, that's where you do that part. So you're seeing it here. I know we've gone through this whole thing, but listen guys, if you have watched the whole wreath, would you leave me your favorite smiley laughing emoji? I always am encouraged when I see that, because I know you watched and I know that you're listening, and it's such a big encouragement to me. But isn't that beautiful? I love how this turns out. So we do all the sections on a 16-inch wreath form, and if we have mesh left over, we can add even more curls on this. And isn't she gorgeous? I mean, seriously, I could just put a bow and put that on my front door and be happy. So you could add some curls at the brackets if you wanted to, but I don't think I did that on this one. I added the beautiful bows, but we got this wreath in honor of our baby girl, little Gracie, because she's a little beautiful puppy. And I gave this wreath to my nephew who gave us Gracie. So anyways, I hope you loved these videos. Let me know, do you want a part 2 in this series? Because I have more to come. So let me know in the comments. I hope you enjoyed this week's video. I enjoyed putting it together. All of these wreaths that you see in this picture are not in this particular video, but they're going to be in another video. So let me know, how much did you love this particular video? And should we keep doing more of them? So again, leave me your favorite smiling emoji down in the comments, and we'll see you next week. Bye-bye.